I just want my family and my children to know that everything that has happened that has been negative and bad and the pain that I've caused them, I just want them to know I never ever meant to hurt any of them.
All right, we're just replaying that interview as an effort to take the public seriously, talking about, as a parent, what would you do differently, having listened to the mother of a convicted child rapist, Nicholas Ninow. His mother has admitted that she failed him. Amongst other things, the interview has brought the question of parenting into the fore, and we're joined now from our Pretoria studio by Mo Senne. She's the head of communications at Not In My Name. Mo, thank you so much for making the time to join us this morning in our efforts to be responsive to the public. Nicholas's mother is heard over and over again saying he made a mistake. He just made a mistake. What is, as an NGO, what's your reaction to both this interview and whether the SABC should have aired it or not?
Wow. First of all, I don't see why it was necessary to have this. There is in no way that this is in the best interest of the child. What this interview is saying is that it's possible for rape to become a mistake. It's possible for you to excuse it with drugs, to call on the insanity plea, to use all sorts of measures to try to evade the fact that he is problematic on his own. Yes, the mother may have contributed in however way, but this is not the platform. If she felt that there was something that she was sorry for, that she's being tormented and coming into an epiphany, that's fine. She should do that in her own private and personal capacity. Must not use South African resources to perpetuate these kind of ideas. And it also reflects very vividly onto white privilege. How many people have you had their mothers being interviewed, having them have the platform to come and cry here and tell us that they're sorry and it was a mistake? He doesn't know. When has rape ever been a mistake? It's a series of decisions that you're taking from the point of departure. Nicholas Ninow, honestly, I'm not even afraid to say that this is something that was recurrent, that has been ongoing in his mind. He thought about it. You can't just in such a public domain feel that you're safe enough to do what you have done and then come and call it a mistake. You've had so many chances. You've had to go to rehab. You even succeeded somehow to get our system to get to take you for psychological evaluation, and yet they found nothing. And over again, he's been given a platform where it steals the family's ability and chance to heal. It is unacceptable. It is not necessary, and we actually demand that it's taken down and no longer viewed. We don't see the necessity for this.
I hear your point about white privilege, but Not In My Name was in this process right from the beginning. You don't think there's any benefit at all for other people who are grappling with parenting and how to go about this difficult process in life and bringing out these issues that other mothers or fathers might be grappling with?
This specific interview reflects badly back into society. They are suggestible people. Like I said, the content in itself, where she starts saying, my son is not a rapist, he made a mistake, that first point of departure is a mistake on its own. So there's no learning curve here. I don't see what she has taught anyone except the fact that when you are white, you can get away with doing things like this. And they've proven it from the get-go since September, coming up with all sorts of excuses. So no. We do not see any benefit for this specific interview being aired. There are so many other things that can be done specifically by the SABC, if I may, that can show or rather help these parents who are struggling with their own parenting styles and rearing styles and whatever else that they're struggling with to breed rapists. We're not going to have that. This specific interview must be taken down, I repeat.
All right, our producers have prepared some more of those clips. Let's take a listen to some more of what the mother had to say.
I'm sorry to that little girl's parents and to that little girl. I really am sorry, and that if it was my child, I would be so angry.
Mo, do you think that apology means anything?
So if it was her child, she would have been angry, but it's somebody else's child, and then she considers it a mistake. We can all cry, honestly. People get paid to get onto TV and cry. So what she's doing, I don't feel anything for her. Like what I'm saying is that she shouldn't have been given this platform. If she genuinely felt sorry and all of these things, this is something that she could have released a very long time, from the beginning, from the get-go. So now when it's coming out at this point where there's already been sentencing, the family is starting to heal, the child is starting to at least have some semblance of a normal life, and then this kind of thing gets aired. This kind of thing gets aired, guys.
There's something else she says about parents shouldn't be friends with their children. Let's take a listen to that.
I would just like to urge all the young mommies, especially the young ones, that as they get older, the gap does close, and they are not your friends. They are still your children.
Mo, how would you judge the SABC if it would have taken an editorial decision not to air this interview? Would that not be seen as censorship of some sort?
No, it's not censorship. You're controlling the kind of things that you're putting into people's minds if you do that. What she's trying to do right now is get sympathy, and now it's about her and how she feels and her tears and Nicholas being this and that, and now all of a sudden subliminally trying to make it look like this is about the child or anybody else for that matter. It's not censorship. What you have done now actually is what the mistake is. You should have taken it down immediately when you had a backlash from everyone. I don't think there's anybody really who's told you that this is a good idea. So yes, I do not agree with anything that you have done regarding this. You are just re-victimizing the child. It is not in the best interest of the child or South Africa or anybody else who is involved. I'm not sure how many people decided that this is a good idea, but I really beseech you that you need to go back and revisit the cognitive thinking that got us here, because it is incorrect. You are harming South Africa. You're perpetuating rape culture and enabling white privilege, and we will not have that. Not in my name. I'm sorry, there's nothing I'm going to agree with that you're going to ask me right now about the SABC or this interview specifically.
Mo, I know you're here speaking on behalf of your organization, but just in terms of looking at the entire country and just looking at the public and their ability to discern, what kind of conversation can we have there?
The conversations that we need to be having now is how, like you said, censorship. We need to be talking about how the justice system deals with these kind of things, the kind of messages that we are feeding the public. You know, like I said, there are various methods in which you can tell people that, listen, this is what happened from the get-go when Ninow started. He wanted to use the insanity plea. He got taken there anyway, when we know very well that there is no direct correlation between bipolar and pedophilia. After that, he said he was sick, and then there was drug issues. There are so many things that had happened that I felt that were learning curves, that's where we need to take our conversations from. But instead, they're reading poems here in court, and then the next thing, they're being kept in separate cells because of a needs assessment that was conducted, talking about his safety. And he was even saying that if he gets life imprisonment, then he's going to kill himself. We're being held ransom here. This is what's happening, and I don't agree with it. The angle that this is being taken and then being put across as us having crucial conversations and censorship being thrown in the mix. There are so many ways, honestly, that this could have been conducted, and you have failed dismally, and I need you to accept that so that we can redirect this conversation to where it needs to be had. If we have to talk about parenting, let's do that. If we need to talk, like she said, when we need to talk about addressing our our friends and which of them are capable of doing this and this and that. That's fine, you can do that. In fact, Not in My Name has a Boy Scouts program and a Girl Scouts program. You can come to us, we'll help you, but you don't air such gratuitous speech and come and tell us that what if it's censorship, or that she needs a chance to do this, or she's educating South Africa. The only thing that she's educating South Africa on is telling us that rape can be a mistake somewhere. And I really pray that you don't find a place where rape is actually allowed. But here, we don't have that here. We don't do that here. I'm so sorry.
Mo, let me try and be the devil's advocate here and say the crime that Nicholas Ninow committed is a national problem. It's a big problem in the country. And Not in My Name, the SABC and other NGOs are trying to find solutions. And uncharacteristically, a family here is saying, we know this has happened, there's no way we can change it around, but we're trying to be part of the solution and start a conversation going. Is that incorrect?
We don't need them to start any kind of conversation where they're calling rape a mistake. Their own content, maybe their intention, Shem, Kisono, we can't see it, but the content that's coming out of their mouth, it's making them the victims here. We've forgotten about the child. At which point, honestly, let's talk about that. At which point did we address the child ever since I sat here? We haven't. We're talking about Nino, we're talking about South Africa, we're talking about all sorts of people. No, we need to consider what's in the best interest of the child, and having this specific thing, Ed, is what's not considering the best interest of the child. She's trying to heal, and this one feels sorry, she feels this. Do it in your personal capacity.
It's unfortunately not. This case is a public case, and let me just take you back to that Boy Scout program that you say Not in My Name is running. What sort of conversations are you having with the boys about the need for boy children and for men to start facing head on the reasons why men commit rape?
Okay, so you want to know the conversations that we're having with the boys regarding
for the benefit of the nation
scourge,
as well.
Correct? Okay. First, rape is not a mistake.
True.
Bipolar has no correlation with raping children or raping anyone else. You cannot use your cognitive dissonance or your mental health to try to evade any kind of constitutional right that is being infringed. You do not violate the rights of women and children, and then as a man you don't stand up to take it. You want to have all sorts of excuses. Anything that you do, you must be able to be held accountable for it. And you do not at any point try to re-victimize somebody else because when your conscience is eating you, or you're having a backlash, or you need to do some quick PR so that you can go on with your life while your child is in jail. No. These are the conversations, specifically now if I'm using Nino as a point of reference, because that's what we're talking about. It's about accountability. We can't be having these sort of conversations because, like I said, certain people are suggestible. And if the content that you're allowing perpetuates white privilege, perpetuates rape culture, and just the infringing of women and children's rights on the basis of censorship and the fact that this is a national problem. If it's a national problem, then you must think on a national level on how is this going to affect everyone.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. There's no difficulty here.
I totally agree with you, and I suppose if the outrage, the resultant outrage is anything to go by, it shows you how people feel out there. How do we recover from this this event?
Please take down the video, and then we will revisit the kind of conversations that you want to have. For now, all you're doing is creating some kind of battle between what is right, what is wrong, and what is. The angle that you took, guys, like, you really need to revisit that. Whoever came up with it and decided that it's okay, and everybody who okayed it on top of that, Kikupari, you must all go for GBV sensitivity training so that we can revisit this again with you after you've noticed or acknowledged what is right. But at this point, for as long as you keep asking me these questions about censorship and trying to justify why you did, there's no conversation that I can have with you about how to move forward, because you don't know what you've done is wrong.
Mo, we thank you very much for your time. Mo Senne is from Not In My Name, essentially echoing the sentiment that has been out there since this interview has been aired. Thank you so much for your time once again. Blaine?
Right, let's get you some other news.